Hello and welcome. Brett here with ClickMill.co. In this video, in this course, we are going to be discussing incentive structures and how to incentivize the people God has called you to and the people that God has called you to lead, how to incentivize them to engage with you, to follow you or your ministry, how to incentivize them to grow and become the people that God has called them to be. And so in this lesson, I want to firstly go over what is an incentive and an incentive structure. So what's an incentive? An incentive is simply something that makes you want to go towards something you want or move away from something you don't want. So, a super simple incentive is you go to work to usually earn money. Why? Because you use that to pay for your bills and buy food and all of the things. So it is an incentive to show up to work. It is also an incentive to show up to work regularly. Now, what is an incentive structure? So there's lots of incentives, and the more creative you can be, the more creative and effective your incentive structures can be. And it is difficult to be creative in this way. We're going to get good at it though. What is an incentive structure? An incentive structure is a bunch of incentives that are put together that encourage people to move in a certain direction. Usually, it's a direction that is more difficult. That's why you need more incentives. But for example, um, my father worked for a company for 30 years, and he told me after he retired, he's like, "Well, I didn't really enjoy it that much, and it wasn't really my favorite thing. I probably would have done something else." Well, why did you stay? And he said, "Well, I got caught in the golden handcuffs." And it's, well, okay, well, what are the golden handcuffs? In the United States, the golden handcuffs are your retirement fund. And so what will happen is a company will say, "Hey, for every dollar you earn, we're going to put this much money in retirement for you. And we're going to put it in an account over here, but you can't touch it until retirement. But if you leave the company before retirement, you can't have access to it." So there's an incentive there. Stay with the company and get a bunch of extra money because you spent your whole career there. And so he goes, I was 10 years in and I'm not really that excited about it. I'm kind of wishing I could do something else. I tried a business, it didn't work, but it's like, what am I going to do? Like, I'm halfway there. We're talking decades, right? He's halfway there. He's like, what was it? This is 15 years in. So, because he worked there for 30 years, but he's like, I'm halfway there at 15 years in. I'm just going to finish it out. I'm not going to lose, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars that have been stuffed in an account I can't touch, right? So he is caught in this incentives um, system structure that they have put in place, or at least he felt that way. Of course, he could have quit. Now that is one incentive, but of course they pay. And then if you have to do overtime or extra overtime, they have overtime pay and double overtime pay, and they have great medical. Okay, so they have medical insurance, and that's an incentive. So they do all of these things to set up a structure to incentivize people to continue doing something. In his case, something he didn't even want to do, but there, but the incentive structure met his needs so well he couldn't find another place to go to actually replace that. So I think that's important because even if someone isn't super pleased with the situation, if you're meeting their needs, they're still going to stay. They're still going to stick around. Now, of course, we want people to happily stick around, but it works even if they're not happy. So, this is what an incentive structure is. It is a group of incentives that work together to influence the behavior of people who are following you. And so, with that, thank you for being in this video. In the next video, we're going to go into how to begin setting up incentive structures and how we have to think in order to do that. Thanks for being here. We'll see you in the next video. God bless.